We need to make sure we're on.
What do we need to make sure?
Nothing. Let's go. I'm sure that I'm ready to go.
Welcome to Everyone Racers,
a show designed for the world of low-dollar racing and oddball car culture.
It doesn't matter what kind of limit champ or lucky track dog league you run.
SCCA or NASA, we won't discriminate.
as long as you drive it hard and built it yourself.
Join us each week for tech discussions, tips,
tricks, as well as news and notes from the world of amateur endurance racing.
And whether it's on the spot, hella sweet, or we're lucky enough, and Chrissy,
and I give you just the tip.
We're sure you'll giggle a little and learn even less.
Everyone report to the paddock.
This is Chris.
This is Chrissy.
And I'm mental.
And you're mental.
And we are Everyone Racers. Welcome to a Pennsylvania Turnpike episode of our podcast, as 298, which episode this is the closest Pennsylvania Turnpike exit to our house. We had to dig deep for this one. There's really no automotive 298.
There's no 298s at all.
No, we've got an abundance of riches at 300, but 298, not so much.
Okay.
So, hey, if you're not driving down an overpriced toll road, then check out the E1R bingo card. It also has Easy Pass. Cuts the price in half. You pay zero.
It does.
Still.
They're so cheap now.
It's amazing. People don't use Easy Pass. I just don't get it. Like, it's so much cheaper and more convenient. Anyway,
I've ever driven through other people's other countries, other states' Easy Pass just because I'm like, screw it. I'm just gonna pay the price. Call it a day. It's easier to pay later.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on.
I know what y'all are working on because I've seen y'all lately. But
yeah.
So it still feels weird for me to ask Chrissy. So, Mental, what are you working on?
Surprisingly, very little. I got back from Europe. I did a couple of days at work. I drove all night. I raced, and then I drove all night and went back to work. Yesterday, today I got into work, and we're doing some different stuff. We're recording this actually on a Tuesday, and one of the guys in my office is like, "Are you feeling all right? Because yesterday you were really, really quiet."
You went to work yesterday. You're a machine.
No, I am not. Because I sat on my computer and just went, don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep. Don't fall asleep.
My goodness gracious. Wow. Okay.
I had some emails that I figured I was going to have to get back to. And then it was like 7.5 hours of just me sitting there trying not to pass out.
Wow. I did a half day yesterday. Oh, we'll get to me, but you're amazing. Wow.
Yep.
No, I'm just really stupid.
I guess using your vacation days as best as you can.
Yep.
Yes.
We are not.
Well, so to that end, Chrissy, what were you working on?
Oh, so we will talk about this later, but we went to Denver this week and we were judging. So Chris and I were there to judge. Got there on Thursday, did a whole day of bombing around on Thursday we just drank a lot of beer, went to different breweries, drove through the hills, drove through the flats. Just had a great time all just going around the Denver area. So we did that on Thursday. The Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we judged. We are not going to tell you the story because we're going to save it for a different show because there's a whole show to be had. I'm sure many of you saw on social medias that Mental surprised us by being there. So he was racing, but your paddock was not far away from where we were standing. So we saw plenty of you and had able to have a nice conversation with you while you were watching your car. We won't tell any more about that because that's a whole story. So that's where we were. And then we did a red eye on Sunday after the race. We went out to dinner with a bunch of LeMans staffers, which was awesome. And then we took a little nap in the car, returned our car, tried to sleep in the airport. And then it left at 11:59 was our flight. And then, so that got us home at 5 a.m. We had a heck of a time trying to get home because one of the major roadways that we take home was closed. So we went along with everybody else. So there's just a lot of traffic on a Monday morning at the time that we were trying to get home. Slept for a few hours. I worked from home. Chris did not. And then Chris, you can pick up there.
Yep. Well, even before we left, I was doing race prep on the Mazda. So as we were leaving, the car was still not ready to go. It was running, but it had no axles still. because they still weren't here. So that's always fun to leave the weekend before you race and your car's not ready. But fortunately, we got back. The axles were delivered while we were gone. But I had even taken the best of the Rock Auto axles that we had, taken them completely apart, cleaned out as much grease as I possibly could, repacked them with Redline CV2, and vented them by using WD-40 straws cut short and putting those under the boot to get a vent in them. I figured that was about the right size. It was just enough, and I already have them.
Okay.
But I got some stainless new CV clamps, and unfortunately, the PEX clamp tool that you use for plumbing is also the same tool you use for putting on CV boots straps. So hey, dual use. Who knew?
Hey.
So axles are in now, which is great. They look very beefy. So hopefully that will help solve our problem. Damn it, they better solve our problem. Also, as I was putting the car back together, I'd put everything done. I was torquing the wheels, and I go to the left front wheel, and the very first one I start to torque doesn't torque. It just breaks right off. The lug stud. Exactly the same thing that happened in New Hampshire in the fall. Just comes right off. I hadn't over torqued anything, just broke. So then I said, well, okay, great. So that was 2 hours. This was on Monday. I had decided to take the whole day off instead of just a half day to sleep, half day. I said, well, the car's not going to be done. So let me take the half day and get it all done. So that was an extra 2 hours of taking that knuckle back apart that I previously had 80% of the way off. And so now take it all back apart, get it all. But then I got it. Unfortunately, that wheel bearing was starting to go once I got it apart. So it was actually nice that piece broke off, because now it's all freshly new. Opened the bearing up, packed it up with better grease, put it all together with ARP studs, and that corner is good. Axles in, washed the car thoroughly, cleaned the glass, did all that stuff. It is race ready, and in the trailer is packed, car is in there, lift is in there, everything in the trailer is ready to go.
Yes.
In addition, got some new tires mounted on the NSX, new Enki wheels, got those installed, which is great. And the beach cart that you've all heard about so much about, it broke. It was all loaded up.
I didn't even get to take a video. I was like, hold on, let me take a picture. As Chris skipped down the sidewalk.
We're going along the sidewalk. It's powering itself. It's just so fun. I get to a curb. Yeah, the curb cut. I go a little not straight on the curb cut, but one corner has to go up over a curb a little bit. That wheel just folded right under. Weld broke. Metal didn't break. The weld broke. So right in the middle of the weld.
Tow it home.
Yeah. Yep. So Chrissy held up that corner of it while it powered home, and then it came home. And so now it's here in the garage waiting for me to weld that back on and reinforce the front wheel supports notably from where they were.
We are happy that it happened not while my parents were driving it, while you were driving it, because that would have been a little bit more of a problem. I
also found that the locked rear axle that I had, which is great for traction, makes it absolutely impossible to turn when it's loaded. I figured there'd be enough sand and stuff on the ground that it would slip. Nope. And the fact that the balloon tires, the inflation pressure so dramatically changes the radius. One of them was slightly more pressure than the other, so it constantly wanted to turn right because larger radius. It had stagger.
No problems here.
Yeah. Anyway, learned all that stuff.
We learn.
Now we're going racing again. Yay.
Here we are.
That's awesome.
Yeah. You know what it's time for?
What is it? Oh, I thought you were going to do it.
No, you always do it.
Yes, it is time. Okay, fine. I was like, what time is it? Okay, anyway.
I was with you, Chrissy. I figured Chris had like a new intro. He was like,
I was very excited. I thought
I was just trying to cue you up.
Presentation.
I was tossing it to you.
I'm rolling my eyes at you. This is such big news. We have talked many times about this Garage 56 entry for the 24 hours of Le Mans. You know, the good one. In preparation for the event, the Hendricks Motorsports Camero, driven by Jimmy Johnson, Jensen Button, and Mike Rockefeller, is making waves. If you haven't seen pictures of this car, it is in testing, dwarfing the rest of the field. It's pretty funny. Also, according to Chris Perkins at the Road and Track, the crew has made other impressions. In addition to being 2 seconds faster than GT Field in practice, the Dangle Camero team has won the Pit Stop Challenge. Making this more impressive is the fact that other cars have built-in pneumatic jacks, so teams don't have to raise the car up manually. Cup cars don't have built-in jacks. They need someone to get a floor jack in the right spot, lift it up at the exact right moment. The NASCAR crew beat all of the GTE with teams with a time of 10.364 seconds. As Perkins says himself, they may be competing with an exhibition category of 1, but they're competing all the same. This is all over the place. Everybody's so excited for this.
Good for them.
It does look like a
speaking of-
bad Photoshop seeing that Camero on those.
Or it looks fake, like the front of like a Forza or something. Like it looks like the front of, like it looks like CGI kind of. Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, it's like one of the races we would make in iRacing.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Somebody takes a screenshot of like a really high res and you're just like,
Yep.
oh yeah, that doesn't exist. Oh wait, it does.
Yep. Speaking of Daniel Camaros, 2024 is the last of this generation, at least. Peter Holdred of the Drive relayed that story back in March, but now as a preview of the collector models, as Chevy puts another nail in the coffin on the stick shift V8 coupes with the demise of the Challenger, all that's left will be the Mustang. Final version of the 6th gen Camaro will be available with a commemorative appearance package. Of course it was. That includes Black Panther metallic paint, satin black stripes, and exterior accents from other Camaros like the 1LE splitter and the rear wing from the Z01. Flagship Z01 get their own version. GM's going to make 350. The highest performance versions will be painted matte black and get a high-rise wing, perfect for eating your lunch. All collector edition 24
I love eating my
Camaros
lunch in the back of cars.
Right? I mean, the wing is just the right height. Put your sandwich down and your drink. It's
A
great.
little soup. That's great for, you got too many things you can't hold in one hand.
Did you notice one of the teams at High Plains was serving their trunk or treat potluck on the wing of their race car? That was good. Anyway, expect a whole bunch more added to the price, but buyers get 2 posters of the car.
Wow.
And a bespoke Canfield Sport 45 millimeter watch from Shinola. That's worth $5 to $15,000.
Wow. Yep. You get a cool poster. Who uses posters anymore? Come on.
Hey, do you guys remember when Honda was at the top of like Formula One performance and then decided to leave after Red Bull finally won the Constructors Championship?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Miguel Cortina tells us that Honda might actually be back. That's over at Motor Trend. After officially quitting F1 in 2021, they just inked a deal to be the official engine supplier for Aston Martin. Now, what will then be the Aston Martin Armco Honda team will stop using Mercedes AMG engines at the conclusion of the 2025 F1 season. In 2026, new F1 rules require cars receive half their power from internal combustion and the other half from an electric motor, as opposed to about the 20% we see now. And in 2026, competitors will be required to use 100% sustainable fuel. So more on this as it develops, but short version is Aston Martin is no longer going to be Mercedes powered. They're going to be Honda powered. I don't know why they're not going back to Red Bull, who is still using Honda power, but
Who knows?
Whatever.
It's because Red Bull's going to want to hook up with Ford. So anyway.
Anyway.
Hey, do you want to be completely unique at the track and run for cheap?
Yes, I do.
Great, because RacingJunk has you covered. Here is a 1981 Mazda 626 Coupe GT2 race car.
Hell yeah.
Right? It's wide body. It is white and brown and gold, and it's an old Mazda you're never ever going to see. Quote the ad: pro-built vintage race car, refurbished and ready to run. New driver's seat, 6-point safety belts, fuel cell. Comes with double axle open trailer with electric winch. New Hoosier slicks, performance treaded tires, rain tires, 8 rims, fiberglass quarter panels and molds. Tuned 13B rotary engine with Weber carb. Good car for vintage racing. SCCA track days. Simple, inexpensive, easy to maintain.
it is so 80s. It looks.
Oh yeah,
it's got the sundowner stripes and everything. Got
the old school
aftermarket
Pepsi
homemade
logo.
Yeah.
Right.
We should say if you're not watching, it's listed at $11,000. Only
It
one
is.
picture though, which I always just want to click more pictures.
You know
You
how
know
they
what?
could have gotten more pictures?
Right? How? Tell us how.
They could use code POD23 and get a pro membership hella cheap. That gets them 50 photos per ad and up to 5
Wow.
ads and all kinds of other fun stuff. So they should have done that. The car probably would have been sold by now.
Probably
Yeah.
true.
You know, and if you buy this car, a great place to take it,
Oh,
Where?
the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix. It's going to be happening this summer.
Yeah.
You can
don't-
expect to see us there. But in the meantime, what you need to do is pop on over to YouTube. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, just hit pause real quick. Go to the search button, put in Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, and click subscribe because they need 1,000 subscribers so that they can broadcast the race live this summer, where we'll be commentating.
I didn't see where
Yep.
this ad, it doesn't really matter where this car
They're at
car is.
408 subscribers now. So they're getting there.
Oh, yeah.
They need your help.
Yes, they do.
All right.
When you're over at somebody else's house, click into their YouTube on their smart TV real quick.
Here,
and
let me
subscribe.
just borrow this.
Because they're not, it's not like they're
Yoink.
going to get a bunch of spam. Who cares, right? Just subscribe everybody. So everyone gets a
Or-
subscription to Pittsburgh. It's fine.
Everybody does.
Totally.
Okay, upcoming races.
LeMans is going to NJMP. We will
Yes,
be there.
they are.
133 cars.
You know, it's a long track.
That's
Hey, I'm driving here.
Yeah. Yeah, right. But 15 BMWs, which while boring,
It's
is only like
great.
12% of the field. So
And they're
I'm
probably
gonna
not
golf
all,
clap
like-
the
I think they're
Northeast for that.
Probably not all like there might be some E30s, there might be some
Yeah, but still,
different
that's-
like they're not
I'm
all
pleased.
Bentleys.
We got 3 Miatas, 8 Hondas, 3 Porsches, and from fifth host Eric Rude, quote, big field, lots of amazing cars. This is great for New Jersey compared to some of the crap we've been seeing lately. So well done. Let's hear more.
First, double Cordoba.
What is that? What?
Yeah,
Same
there's more than
Valtep
one
as
Cordoba.
2 registered now.
That's great.
Apparently they thought
Yes.
1 was good enough that they want 2.
Well, one
All
can be a
right.
parts car.
The diesel Porsche 924 has moved out east. The Vannenball, which when we all left, High Plains was broken, but Monday morning was driving again.
Really?
The Vannenball was leaving Denver. Some local racer got it fixed. So hopefully he can get all the way to New
Wow.
Jersey and make it 3 in a row.
Wow.
All right.
Okay.
Wow.
There is a Volvo Amazon running in JMP for the first time. I'm sorry, the Volvo Amazon running in JMP for the first time. A Sunbeam Alpine, which is so amazing. And a YouTuber is bringing a Sebring.
Oh, that's a great car to bring. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry. Did we say that there was going to be double Cordoba?
It's so good we say it twice.
Okay. Da-da, da-da. All 3 American light pickups, 2 rear-wheel drive Isuzu coupes, the Hudson. Glue Sticks X-Type is surely going to run all weekend for once, and the Park Bench Buick returns for its second race in 5 years.
There's also the 1937 Buick coming back. From what I hear, they may have solved their overheating issues. At least
I
they
think
they have.
they've been doing a lot of work on it, so
Yep,
that's great.
So that would be interesting. Potentially an outright battle for the overall win between an AMC Hornet and a Shelby Z. There's also 2 Cordobas
What?
and 4 Celicas, all from different generations.
Wow.
At some point, there needs to be that needs to be a picture. Whoever's doing media,
Yes.
Yeah.
got to have all those. Might be the
Aaron.
Celica Trophy is the regional one.
As we know, it's hard to pick that. So we're going to talk about recent results. So we were just in Denver doing the LeMans race, and we're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about this again later. But let's give you the what happened, all of the class wins, and all of the rest of the awards that we gave out. So Class A went to Smoke Weed, which was a Datsun 510. It had some patina. It was kind of had a bad paint job. It had some little bit of rust. It might have been faux rust, and they tried to convince us that this is an old car and it shouldn't be an A. And we were like, no, I think it should. And of course, thankfully, we put it in an A.
It was a rocket.
Because
Oh.
and they even came in for some flags. So they didn't walk away with it, but they could have if they ran clean all week. So
Yep.
that was Class A. Class B was a Secrets of Slow, which was an Audi 90. They still seemed pretty fast all weekend. They still came in top 10, I believe.
A race that rains for 2 days straight and weird things happen like
They
this. So
were so happy. So they did very well. I don't really think we saw them in penalty box, which was good.
no.
And then Class C was screaming weenies in an Isuzu Impulse. This team assured us that they're new drivers. They're not going to win. They're going to do short stints. They're going to break. Blah blah blah. They had Class C in the bag the whole week. The whole
Well,
weekend.
they just never stopped. Who knew an Isuzu Impulse wasn't going to break or get a penalty?
So wasn't
And it
there a
belongs
brief
in
period
C,
where
so-
wasn't the van early on Saturday leading C?
The van was in like close to the lead in C at one point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Heroic fix was DAE Racing in a 944 with a 1.8 T swap. They had every electrical gremlin you could possibly have. Who knew if you put a Mark IV engine in a 944, you'd have electrical issues? It was at the point where they were cleaning their ECU with a toothbrush and electrical contacts cleaner because that was the problem. They had another ECU, all kinds of different sensors, which are all 1 year only sensors on a 1.8 T. So yeah, they everything. Eventually, they got it running so well that blew all the charge pipes off the intercooler, so they had to fix all that. But
They had a good attitude,
finished the
though.
race. They had a great attitude. They just didn't stop. So great job on them. I got screwed was the Van and Ball Dodge Caravan that we were just talked about. They were running really well. They were looking like, oh, I think they might have the IOE wrapped up with this thing. And sure enough, then they came in for a brake caliper that was seizing up. Like, I don't know why it is smoking. And Aaron Kreggers and I look at it and we're like, well, because we can see from here that caliper is seized up. That rotor is trashed. We can see the smoke. It's like, are you sure? Yes. Go change it. Go take it apart and change it. So as they're jacking up the car, the guy who's been driving it cross country jacks it up on the essentially the timing cover and breaks off a piece of the timing cover that's practically unobtainium. And yeah, that ended their race right there. And they were stuck in Colorado with a broken NLA part. And apparently they got it going again though. So good for them.
That's
but
amazing.
They were screwed. Not only did they not get an IOE, they were stuck in Denver. Oh, anyway,
In the rainy fixing this all in a paddock that was
in a muddy
swimmable
gravel parking lot.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait.
And also he's sleeping in that thing at the track too. And there's not a lot of windows.
Even better. Yeah.
He was sleeping in the van.
Yeah.
Apparently.
He's got a hammock kind of strung in the back, and that's where he stayed.
And he's not he's a luxury mammal. So
he is a luxury mammal.
Better.
Wow.
Follow the saga on Facebook. It's worth it.
Yeah.
The Van and Ball.
Judge's choice, Mofo Cove in a Ford Focus. This is the Pac-Man one that they played the Pac-Man music until it failed from being wet too much. But they did a great job. They got up to 4th or 5th at the end. And
they had great costumes. They brought us ice pops on Friday.
Yeah. Nice attitude, great guys.
Awesome. Oh wait, this is Adam. Hey Adam, he's a listener. Great. That's awesome.
Anyway, they were great. Great to see that. Any theme that totally changes the shape of a car is always a good one in our books.
Especially if it makes it horribly unaerodynamic, like basically a giant wind resisting scoop.
They probably did they black out the back of their windows too? They may have some pretty bad like blind spots
but we never saw them in penalties. No. So that's another reason that they got that award.
Yeah.
You missed one. No.
Our organizer's choice was whiskey and donuts, and would normally be a boring E36, but if you've got whiskey and donuts, that's not boring at all.
No. The story of this one is that you got it, Mental?
No, go for it.
They showed up with a car that was completely not done. It had a cage, but that's it.
That's it.
Nothing
no fire system. No, the belts were wrong. They didn't
have gauges. Like
nothing.
Really, it's a cage with a motor, basically, is what it was. But they worked with Pagel. They just kept working. They got it all done. Got out and track and kept
teched
going.
on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah,
like late Saturday afternoon. They were like, "We're here to tech," and we're like, "We got to go." Pagel's working and stuff. Like he was in the tower. So.
And they also gave us the 2 10x10 high quality pop-ups with weights that we used at penalty all weekend. So that was very much appreciated in the ring. Yep.
Indeed. Ran away with it. Halloween meets gasoline, Hangar 13 racing. It's, Tom and Jan. Tom and Jan. Thank you. Tom and Jan. They keep taking an exceptionally odd car, a Vega, and just doing wonderful things with it. They painted a lovely, just black and white painting on the hood of Uma Thurman's character from Pulp Fiction saying, Vincent Vega, or Vinny Vega from the movie, and they were all weekend in their Pulp Fiction costumes, wearing the suits or wearing the outfit. They had a twist contest. They had milkshakes Saturday night, and normal, well-adjusted Mike was walking around with one of a dozen briefcases and was always
Do they have
having
that many?
people opening.
I think I only saw 2 or 3.
There were several with that.
There
There
yeah.
were many, many briefcases.
Yep.
I kept waiting for SpaghettiOs to come out of one of them. They conceptualized this theme, owned it all weekend. It was awesome. And I think everyone knew it right away that this was going to be Halloween meets gasoline.
Yep.
And I think that's like the 3rd time at this race they've done that, because they did the Vegas theme, they did the LeMans. They are just on it.
Yep, totally.
Yep.
Great people.
Yes. And the index of fluency was the Salty Thunder. Normally you would follow that statement with Fiero, but in this case, no. It was an 86 Pontiac T1000. What's a T1000? It's a Pontiac Chevette. And if you actually go and look on Jalopnik, they dug up one of those old Motor Trend shows, the public, the Maryland Public Television Motor Week, the review of the Pontiac T1000. And it may be like one of only 2 reviews where he just says, as politely as possible, this car sucks. It was a absolute choice of a car, and it just kept turning laps all weekend. Our buddy Corey Dickman was driving it, and he just said he just spent the entire stint giggling. Well, he's just driving a Chevette around a rainy racetrack.
Yeah, Jeff is the guy that usually does from Salty Thunder. The only person who can make a Fiero last in LeMans. This was his 17-year-old son's car, and the son did basically all the work on it and drove it the most, and it was his car. And the dad, Jeff, he was just so proud. And the best part was at the end of the race, they barely got the T1000 back together because it had an alternator bolt that backed out, and its timing was screwed up, and they couldn't figure that out. Anyway, they got it back together at 2:58 to go out to run the last lap. Jeff got in the Fiero to go chase him down so he could, to cross the line with his son. Guess what? Both cars broke on that last lap in the pits and had to get pushed into the paddock by their team. I mean, it was.
Oh,
great.
it was like, oh, what a picture. Both of them, they were right next to each other. They died next to each other. So they pushed into the paddock when everybody was clapping. The whole team helped with both of them. It was awesome.
Father and son being pushed across the line in their terrible General Motors products.
Yep.
It was great.
The car just kept running all weekend, and we had heard a lot of good things, how they were staying out of the way, even though they're the slowest car out there by far. But that's how you do it. Well done.
Yep. Yeah. The interesting thing, when he found that, he knew he wanted that kind of car, and he found a Chevette, and they went and looked at the Chevette, and he said, this is too nice to tear up and turn into a race car. That's the teenage son's daily driver.
Get out of town. Yep. That's awesome.
So that kid went and found 2 of those things.
They were so nice too. That was so great. Awesome. Yes. All right. We're definitely going to talk about the whole experience, what we did. We'll tell you about that at a later date.
Yep. Yes.
Okay.
Speaking of, you go.
Feedback.
Sorry. Speaking of things that we're going to discuss in depth at a later date, we had our preview, or the history of the Monaco Grand Prix video, and we posted it up there. But in the comments section, Randy B gave us a preview of the Pittsburgh Vintage Grand Prix, calling it, quote, a 2-week stretch of amazingness, ending with a big show in downtown Pittsburgh. Genuinely the best show I've ever experienced.
Oh, that's
we're really looking forward to being there.
So fun. That's awesome. Tyler S said, I love racing history, and especially racing history. Vintage races at Road America make up the most of my favorite childhood and adult memories.
And he also corrected me on the use of CFII. Go look it up if you care. Anyway, AJ remarked, a poll, like F1 poll, POLE, by ballot would be amazing. Quote, for the 18th consecutive time this season, Racy McRaceface starts in pole position.
All right. We also posted a video this week featuring the GDO Man's new sponsor, Jepson Malort. If you don't know, Malort is a Wormwood based bitter, I guess you could call it that, traditional sweet Swedish alcohol from drizzly.com. Jeppson Malort tastes like something between fiery death and herbal gasoline extracted fruitiness. This liquor is a harsh, savory, and waxy on the palate and is a concoction of bitter herbs and pungent power. Will make you feel a lot of things, and alive is not one of them. You may taste other things, but this much is certain: you won't you definitely won't not have an opinion.
And
What?
we posted that video on Instagram
Yes, we did.
of you and
Chrissy
me
and
doing
Mental
that,
tasting.
Yes,
doing that tasting, and it was awful. Just God.
it wasn't bad when you do the shot.
And then Mental chased it with an old style for the proper Chicago handshake. So,
It was terrible the longer you waited. That's the problem with this. And it is exactly, I'm tasting it now. I'm everything that is listed here is exactly how it tastes. It's so, somebody's like, let me just take some more of this Malort so I can accurately say on drizzly.com what you're getting into. They make it sound very classy, and drinking it out of a tiny solo cup out of the back of the GDO man's car. I don't
The
know if that.
nine-finger drifters Corolla wagon.
yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that is they had life-size pictures in the back of the car of all three of them after having tasted Malort.
They're not very happy about it. Okay. And
Um,
last, meanwhile, Hetman was way too concerned with its gluten-free status,
Mhm.
which is good. I didn't
You know
even
who's
check.
also
I
not
just,
a fan of Malort?
sure she would not be.
Chrissy's mom. Definitely would not be a fan of Malort.
Thanks
Uh,
in advance for her cookies for this weekend. If you're going to see us this weekend, first off, if you're going to see us this weekend, maybe I'll have a cookie for you. Second of all, if you're coming this weekend to New Jersey, make sure that you bring something for the potluck. Make sure it's not potato salad. Make sure it's not a half-eaten pizza. Make sure you bring a spoon. And if it needs to be cooked, make sure you cook it before you get there. Please bring it. I haven't decided what time. I think we end at 6:30.
It'll be on the loudspeaker. You'll hear
Yeah,
it.
we'll announce it. Dinner time, usually like an hour-ish after the track, just give everybody time to put it in the oven and get it cooked. And if you need help, call me.
and don't get distracted with the repair. Like, get to a pause point so you can go eat something. Don't show up like 45 minutes
Please.
late, covered in grease with your
You
half-eaten
literally may
pizza.
not have food because
Mm.
last race we didn't have enough food. So if you're not in line, it's very possible that you won't eat. You could have had 8 Costco pies, but you couldn't actually have eaten dinner. So there's that. Eat a pie, eat some meat. Okay.
All right. Now, what's going to happen is we're going to pause this, and my two hardworking co-hosts are going to go back to packing for New Jersey. And the rest of the show is actually going to be our track walk from last year because they have not changed. Come back at the end of this. I've got a just the tip, and we'll talk about next week's show.
These are all right. Track walk time. Is someone going to
Great.
share it? Who's going to share it?
Yeah,
Yes,
Mental said he's
so-
got a setup
good.
here for us. So, okay.
All right. So as we talked about, this is the non-Dong course, or the non-Toyota water pump course. And there we have it. So
that's nice.
there is.
I'll mention to the
yeah.
people listening at home that if you want to follow along with the track map, we have it up, and so go watch on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
There, you can watch us on YouTube, or if you're not a YouTuber and you still want to follow along, this map came directly from Ross Bentley's Speed Secrets, so we can walk around that.
All right,
Right.
we're seeing
Now-
your desktop again.
Yeah,
That's
this
the
is a
track.
terrible.
Oh crap! I'm sorry. Yeah, it I'm sorry. I forgot.
your
that it
Apple
does that.
computer.
I know.
There you
My
go.
big- my
Shared.
big screen. All right.
All right. And now it's okay. It's a little off center, but all right.
I'm
then.
working on it. I'm sorry. Dang it.
Okay.
All right. Friggin'.
Now, you mentioned something about a video earlier. Do you have a video?
I
or
do.
we-
I have a video up right now of a Porsche GT3. So I figured we'd start with the
good.
map, and then we can just pause the video as it goes. So there's that guy. So this is all right, and I'm going to push play till we come into turn 1.
Oh, yeah. So
while
this
we're
is coming
talking about
out of the.
Yeah.
We got to turn
So
one.
this
All
is
right,
the straightaway. So here we go.
Hopefully
across
we
start
get that
finish.
again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a straightaway. Yay.
All right. Yay.
Look at this. He's going 150 miles an hour. Good for him.
I feel like the Z
You're-
is going to match that.
Yeah, no way.
I don't know
All
about
right.
that.
Turn one is fairly simple. It is a, 80-degree right-hand corner.
Yep.
It has a big curb on the inside. So watch out for that big ass curb, because when people try to go and dive bomb on the inside, they can jump over that and then lose all traction. It has more traction on the inside than on the outside. Just there's a little bit of fake camber to it. Then it falls off as it goes toward the outside. So it looks deceptively slow. Also watch out for this is where the blend line is on the inside of turn one, and a lot of people are not very good at it. So watch out for that big ass curb. Stay on the inside.
That's good right there. You can see the blend line and everything. Good pause there,
So
Mental.
you see the blend line on the right hand side. Everyone's jumping in there, and everyone has to get sorted out before the top of the hill that's coming up in front of us. To the right there is the chicane only used for motorcycles, so they don't launch themselves over the hill. So don't worry about that. We are not using that one. So this corner is pretty standard outside, inside, outside, normal racing line. Stop there. Too late. Okay. We need to go like 2 frames at a time on how this thing goes. So this is over the top of a hill here, and you can see the hill as we're coming up on it. Stop. And so it's important to get a lot of your turning done before you're going to crest the hill, because a lot of people go off on the left as they're cresting the hill here. This is turn 2, 3. I don't know which one. 2. Everyone goes off on the top of the hill because they get all excited after coming out of 1. They get going fast, and they turn a little too early in 2, and then they wash out on the other side of 2. So
It's also kind of blind. So
yeah.
So you
Agreed.
kind of don't trust where the turn is. So if you don't really know where you're going or who's around you, it's easy to go off there.
Yep. Okay. So so turn on get your turning done on the early side here, so that you've got a little room for when you're cresting the hill, that you don't wash out completely, because enough people have that once you get past the curving, it's a big like ditch there usually, and that can damage the car.
Yeah.
So
And I'm going to mention that turn 1 is nice and wide, the whole 1-2 section. So there's plenty of room for activities. If there's going to be people dive bombing, there's going to be people coming off the blend line. It doesn't get tight in here. So if you're doing what you need to do, you can really go 2, 3 across here.
Yeah. 2 into 3. It's all pretty wide.
Yep.
All right. So you're cresting the hill, and then you're going to be going down the hill coming into 3. And LeMans is going to use the chicane on the right. So pause here. Good. Here you can see the chicane on the right-hand side. We are not going to go straight. We're using the chicane to slow everybody down, which is good when the LeMans crowd with this many cars on it, especially. So, yep, exactly.
Excellent pointing.
Here, where you need to do is you do need to cut into this apex on the first. The chicane goes right, then left, then right. Cut into that apex, and you can be braking as you're coming down in there. Your slowest point is going to be as you're turning left in the middle of the chicane. And then if you slow down enough there, you then accelerate your way out of the chicane onto the straight between 3 and 4.
Yeah. And I'm going to say here, not that the road is skinny, but the line is skinny. So you're going to get in a line here and follow on somebody's bumper. You're probably, even if you lose some time because you're going a little bit slower, it's better to follow someone through the chicane than try and pull a pass in it.
Yeah. If you get someone slow enough, you can go too wide through there pretty easily. But you're going to need the power to pull out of it if you do. The car.
I was going to say, and the far side of the chicane is a great passing zone, so it's almost better to wait.
Yeah, as you're coming in, as you're coming into the chicane, be patient to set yourself up for a run on the way out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So the straight between 3 and 4 is a downhill then an uphill. If it rains, it ponds here, and then this is where great fun can be had by your wake. Yes, splashing into other people's cars. Pause. So turn 4, this is, if we can go back like 2 seconds, this would be great. Turn 4 is very deceptive, and that a lot of people, when they're not used to it, over slow for turn 4, because you look at it and it looks really tight and you can't see anything there. and you're carrying a lot of speed coming out of this straightaway that you've been in. So mental, can you go just like for a second forward and stop again? Just hit play and then pause again. Yeah, great. So there you can see that like it doesn't look like much when you're coming into it because of the way the camber is. So you do take it like a normal corner, but you can kind of trail your brakes into this corner from the other one. You can brake really late in 4, trail your brakes in as you hit that apex, because you'll find a lot of people do not use the track out for 4 because they
Yes.
over brake coming into it.
But people may dive bomb a little.
Sometimes, but more often than not, you're going to have people over slow and then not realize you're passing them on the inside because they're already target fixated on the corner. So,
But Chrissy makes a valid point. If you see an orange BMW trying to take you on the grass, I'm sorry to say that part out loud.
yeah, no, that orange BMW is the car to watch out for. They've proven that repeatedly. So as you come through 4, you're going to track back out, but then you're going to have to get all the way back to the right for 5, which is a left-hander, because you get back to the right and you brake hard, because if you carried good speed through 4, now you're going to have to slow way down for the hardest turn on the track, which is the left-hander at 5.
And slowest turn on the track.
Yep. This is a pretty standard corner. It's a little bit over 90-degree left. It has a big curb on the outside that's initially helpful, but if you go over the curb, you're in a ditch and it is not helpful. This is a place where a lot of passing will happen. If you have a faster car, just come up the inside, pass people on the inside, stay on the inside, rock your way out of it. You can see how big that ditch is on the outside, though.
Yeah.
Avoid
But
that.
but I'm glad he's on it. That is a very smooth curb.
Yeah, the curve.
And
Yeah.
you will
Absolutely
use it.
that. Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you're off, as our friend Matt discovered a few years ago, it will grab your wheel and throw
Yeah.
your car.
That's the other track, but
The
yeah.
other track, yeah, what do you want?
Oh, dang it. Sorry. I
Yep.
knew that.
But
All right,
still
so-
bad.
Yep. So now you're in a little straight between 5 and 6. This is usually enough, like you pull up one gear and then you're deciding, well, do I need to shift for the next one or not? I say go ahead and shift, because you're not going to brake much for 6, depending on how fast your car is. You know, you'll brake a bit, but this is also an increasing radius corner. It looks tight at first, but it's better than you
And
think.
downhill-ish.
Slightly. Yep.
Yeah,
It goes downhill more after the corner. But again, it's a fairly standard line. Nothing particularly exciting, except you can carry more speed than you think. This is coming into the corner before the condos, which is 7, which is a pretty hard right-hander. So you usually do have to brake pretty substantially here for 7, because once you go into 7, now you go into, let's talk about the 7, 8, 9 complex, because it's
Yes.
all really
Thank
one
you.
corner. The condos are on the outside. That's how you kind of know where the condo corners are. Once you make the harder turn at 7, the turn opens up, but usually you are full on the gas through this whole corner as you make this long right-hand sweep. Coming into 9, though, you need to be aware that it's going to tighten up. So we're going to watch
Drastically.
let's watch the videos through 7 and 8, and then we'll talk more about 9 when we get there, because 7 and 8, once you break through 7, watch for track out at the outside of 7, because a lot of people do, and it's trashed over there. Again, another big ditch. So there's through 8, and then pause. So now we're in 9. What I usually like to do is coming out of 8, once I'm kind of through 8 and coming up on 9, I kind of just ease off and just coast, but trail brake really, but without really the braking it so much, because you need your line to tighten up. So if you're off the gas, you're slowing down a bit, your line is tightening up, and you start to gradually trail into your brakes, and you can pass a whole bunch of people on the inside here, because they're hanging way to the outside. So I usually end up on the inside because I'm passing everybody.
Yeah. If you screw this up, you're left. If you do this right, you're right.
Yep. And even when I have nobody around, I don't go all the way out to the left before 9. I kind of stay middle, maybe
Middle.
Center,
Yeah.
maybe
pretty good.
2/3, while trail braking it and trying to get the car to rotate just a little coming into 9. But always be careful here, because quite often people are going to push too wide and push out. It happens, I'd say every other lap, you're going to see someone do that. It happens all the time, because they don't know how much 9 tightens up as you come into it.
Watch the G meter. I want to see this thing.
So yeah, it's a lot. So come through 9, and now through 10, this is the octopus. This is a big, long, sweeping left-hander.
Looks like the octopus's head, everyone.
Yep,
That's why they call it the
exactly.
octopus.
Depending on how your car is at steady state sweeper cornering, you can pass a lot of people in this corner.
Mhm.
Like I used to do that in the Civic a lot. I just drive around the outside of people and, go
Yeah,
right around them.
wherever people aren't, that is
Yeah.
the right place to be on this.
Yeah. If there is no one around, here is a top tip from E1R. Hook your left wheel onto the curb at 10.
Yep.
It is amazing how much more traction and how much more speed you will have. So about a third of the way into the corner, the curb starts. You want to hook. Well, there are listeners. Yeah, I know there are listeners. Hook your wheel on the curb. Do not go beyond the curb. But if you just stick your left side tires on that curb on the inside, it just grabs hold and you hang on for dear life as you go around that corner. It's amazing.
So when we had non-turbo, non-K Civic, you'd put your foot down a little bit before where we're looking at right now. We do it like
at the start of the curbing.
Like at the start of the curbing. Yeah. And you would not lift your foot until turn 1.
Yeah.
So this is a great sweeper. It's a great section. If you have a low horsepower car, if you have a Miata or a 1.6 liter Civic or, a Dos Chevaux, I don't know what you got out there, what you're bringing, just put your foot right to the floor here.
Yeah. Because now you're coming out of 10 into just basically some S's that most cars can handle. Okay, you're going to have to watch traffic here because if someone got a really crappy run out of 10, now they're going to be offline for the S's
and in your way,
slowing down and in your way, right? But normally though, like you just kind of bounce off the two corners of the S's like the straightest line through S's, basically. This is not complicated, hit your apex, and pause. Coming down to the bridge, you can start to see now. You're fine. That was a good spot, Mental.
Oh, sorry.
I'm starting to preempt you because I know it's going to take a second. So
you're good. Just leave it there.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Coming up to the bridge, you start to see. First off, this is how you get into the paddock. Is the cones there, the white line, get all the way right. It can be hard if you have a slow car and you're coming through the corner to get right here because people are passing you on the right. So sometimes a little forethought in coming through the octopus is going to be necessary to get you on the correct side of the track.
Stay on the outside of the octopus and stick your hand out because you're going to get clipped on the S's. So it's better to be on the outside for the entire S.
Agreed. All right. So 12 is coming onto the straight after you come into the bridge. It is a deceptive corner from how it looks coming into it, but notice the curbing. You can see the curbing here. Just barely. This is friendly curbing. Run over it.
Oh yeah. I'm looking at this GT3 going, hey, that guy messed that one up. He's way off.
He did. Keep your left side tires on the blacktop.
He did get there.
Keep your left side tires in the pavement, but you can put the rest of your car over that curbing.
Something, don't they get bumpier at the very top? Like, right, if you go up and over them, there's a problem.
Yeah, all the way to the end. But the spot you want to be is friendly curbing.
Yep.
Put the car over it.
And this is like 6-8 feet wide. Like this is not like
huge.
Normal curbing. It's a wide candy stripe.
Almost your entire car can fit on it if you keep the left side.
The Civic
ones
could
on the
fit
pavement.
on it pretty much.
Yeah, it could. Yeah. And you should be flat out into this. Like once you turn in for this, be flat out, and it's going to take you several times through it to develop the fortitude to do it regularly and how much you can carry through there. And then you're on the straight. Wave to people in the tower because everyone watches from the tower there. And then brake at the 3-ish, depending on your car. And there you go.
Yeah. That's a good track walk. I like this video, Mental. Thanks for bringing this to us.
Every now and again.
Excellent.
We give Mental crap, but he does a lot of the work for the show notes.
Totally. He did all of it this week.
Right,
and
it's
very it's really great because the rest of us are all thrashing right now. So wonderful.
All right. Any other thoughts on New Jersey motorsports before we wrap this pig up?
Don't take the paddock spot right in front of a garage. It's not yours unless you have the garage. There's
good
tons of paddock out there. If you want power, tell the people at the gate when you're there, I want power. and that way they give you the
little
receipt you need, so that then you put your hazards on when you're there in your spot, and a guy driving a Jeep will find you and unlock the power box where you are. That's how it historically has worked.
Good thought.
Yeah, mental.
If you didn't pay for power, don't try to take power. As much crap as we give New Jersey, the staff at NJMP are friggin' phenomenal. The paddock may not be open when you get there, so go to the bar because it's a great bar. I do love the whole facility. It's a great place to be.
Showers are in the hangar-shaped building that's over where the track store is. Fuel tanks, as you come over the bridge, the fuel station is going to be on the right. It's just two big white tanks. That's where you buy gas. They have run out in the past, but you can go over the other track, but that's a pain. It's a long way away. The store there is pretty decent. They have ice. They have all the supplies you generally need. The catering will deliver to your paddock from their restaurant. You just call them and tell them where you are and they'll bring it to you.
Yeah.
So that's always nice.
And it's good.
Yeah. If you got a hotel near the track, I'm sorry, they're not good.
Yeah.
So I was going to say that there's not much close to the track. You have to drive into town. It's a good, even just go to the
15,
closest Wawa.
20,
Well,
yeah.
15 minutes, but it's not near anything because it's near a airport and a motocross, and
But you can stop at Blinker Custard on your way and get some ice
you
cream.
can do that.
There's this place called the best sushi in town, and I keep going, this is like a one-horse town. It's probably the only sushi in town.
Probably.
So I'm not that impressed.
They're not lying.
There's a decent pizza joint downtown in like the downtown area. I mean, like we went to.
You know what? There's a lot of parts places.
That's true.
There's like 4 different parts places in town.
But
Sometimes you don't really.
The closest junkyard you do not want to go to.
No, that's
Oh,
far.
they suck.
Don't
Yes.
go to those.
They're the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the O'Reillys, the AutoZones, all of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, whatever that place was that sold the Firebird motor and the boat motor, and
motor.
they sold
Yeah.
somebody else a crap
It was
motor too.
Vern's.
Yeah,
I'll
all
I'll
terrible.
throw them, I'll just throw them
Yeah.
under the bus.
You
for
guys.
that.
please.
Ferns.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed that walk back through memory lane, but the track hasn't changed that much. Who is that skinny guy with short hair? Man, he looks fit. Anyway, now it's time for what would normally be everyone's favorite segment, Just the Tip, with the person who is absolutely the least qualified to give you just the tip. We're going to talk about air quality. Our Canadian friends right now are battling several severe wildfires on their East Coast, and that is seriously impacting the air quality in the Northeast United States, and in particularly Millville, New Jersey. Now, the best thing they tell you to do to protect yourself is stay indoors. But, well, that's not going to work because if you're out there, you're racing cars. And what I'm showing you right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, is the index of air quality. And you can see, well, actually you can't. There it is. All right. Their projected air quality is about at 122. Normal is between 19 and 30. So this is qualifying as unhealthy. And that is health effects immediately felt by sensitive groups. So if you've got lung or heart disease or something like that, this is going to be a real problem for you. Now, the best thing to protect yourself is outside of limiting your exposure outdoors is from Dr. Bob Lahita, who is director of the Institute for Autoimmune and Rheumatic Diseases at St. Joseph's. Quote, the particulate matter that's in this haze is significant because it irritates the bronchioles, or the little tiny tubes in your lungs that go down in there and connect the alveoles, which are the sacs that allow you to breathe. So if you have any lung, pulmonary, or heart issues, seriously consider wearing a mask. Surgical or even a scarf, it's better than nothing. But to avoid both your large and your small particulates, the EPA says that the dust masks aren't enough. Paper comfort dust masks, the kind you buy at the hardware store, are designed to trap large particles, sawdust, things you're grinding, that sort of thing. And they will generally not protect your lungs from the tiny, tiny stuff that is in this smoke. Experts all say that an N95 mask is the best option. I know we just got done with a pandemic. we just got done wearing masks, but you've probably got a couple of these kicking around. And if not, there's one at the Harbor Freight at the hardware store. If you're in your car, run the air conditioning on the recirculation to prevent any outside air from coming in, and just avoid all of the other activities. You got to take it easy during these times to reduce how much of this garbage is getting in your lungs. If it looks or smells smoky outside, avoid strenuous activities, obviously outside of racing. Realize that you're outside, you're exposed to all this kind of stuff. So you're probably not getting all the air you need, and you are not going to be at your best this weekend, and neither is anyone else. So play it safe on that track, play it smart, go ahead and back out of those corners, realize that everyone's not going to be reacting as if they would if the air was clear. And a link to this and all of the tips will be in our show notes. We hope you're safe out there. And I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Everyone Racers. Now, next week, we're going to be talking about what happened at New Jersey and also what happened this past weekend at High Plains Raceway. I hope you guys are going to join us for that one. But normally this would be where I would kick off the music, but it's just me, so I don't have any music. All right. So here's where I read the thing. Thanks for downloading us. We hope you've enjoyed this week's edition of Everyone Racers. Hope you're going to join us in the world of driving, racing, and building, because everyone can be a racer, even you. If you've enjoyed this podcast, subscribe. It's totally free. Then go to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. Even if you hate us, give us a 5-star, give us that thumbs up, because that's how all this stuff works. If you have any questions or show ideas, drop us a comment on our Facebook page, Everyone Racers. Email us at everyone.racers@gmail.com. You can still text me at 484-243-0455. We're on Instagram and Twitter at everyone.racers, YouTube and Facebook under Everyone Racers, and even Reddit at /E1R. Thanks again. Until next week, keep the shiny side up. Unless it's all smoky and hazy, then just keep your wheels down.